違う誤解だった違う誤解だってケーキ見たらなぜか叫ぶ When it sees cake start yelling somehow 述べたかったり3時間 3 hours but I know better 意味不明の例え話 Completely nonsensical company sauce 拙者はプリン何それ A donkey's pudding What does that even mean ロリじゃないロリじゃないロリじゃないロリじゃないロリじゃないノーラロリフェンノーラロリフェンそういう旅増える疑惑 Everything now you makes it worse 深夜2時に突然来る Up to I am he suddenly appears ケーキだけ送信ビンだけ送信 And only sense game ロリじゃないロリじゃないロリじゃないロリじゃないロリじゃないなぜか今日は述べた配信 For some reason today is another no better stream ロリじゃないロリじゃないロリじゃないロリじゃないでも壁紙ちょっと怪しい But the wallpaper looks kinda suspicious ケーキケーキ叫びながら Yelling cake cake at full volume ピカゴ対象全部おかしい Every comparison is completely insane 違うって哲学だ No, listen, it's philosophy なぜ戦車とプリンを比べるの Why are you comparing guns to pudding 似てるだろ They're similar 全然言ってない Not all ロリじゃないロリじゃないロリじゃないロリじゃないロリじゃない今日も元気に意味不明 Still incomprehensible state ロリじゃないロリじゃないロリじゃないロリじゃないなのに話題毎回それ Yeah somehow the top of is always that ケーキ述べた謎理論ケーキ述べたミステリーロジック好きは飯くるみくるみマスターオブケイ
Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we have some exciting news to share.
What up? Welcome to Drawing with Al, episode 10. We are painting the homework today using watercolors. Yes, we are. With that said, waiting for students to arrive, so let me get set up. Hello, J. Mateo Petting Live. What up? Welcome to the stream. Currently waiting for students to arrive, so maybe I'll play some games while waiting. Speaking of, hello, Crackler. Welcome. Have you done your homework? Let's transfer over here to my room. You have, awesome. Care to send it over? Maybe we could do some last minute critique before we continue. Still gotta wait for Ronnie to arrive anyway. Also, thank you for attending Drawing with Elle through all these 10 sessions so far. Here is mine. Yep, we are already at 10. So, I don't know if Ronnie was listening, but I said I recommended to draw it in portrait mode so we can use more of the paper. But yeah, whatever works. For now. Gonna switch over to Photoshop for a bit. Arigatou. Denso. Oh. We will sponsor the stream. Arigatou dayo. I will turn off the ads. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for the support. Jolly spaghetti. What's that? Okay. So ads will be off thanks to Gerardo. Would you like to participate today, Gerardo? Maybe you'd like to participate in the other lessons. In hindsight, you can still send your work to me via direct message. Right, we are transferring over here for a bit. You would awesome. Like, just choose any lesson and send your work to me via direct message, and I'll give you my assessment and maybe in private what points you could improve on. So this is the one I'll be working on myself today. So we will be working on it together. Hello bestie, it's Drawing with Elle, episode 10, and today we're just chilling because I'm a bit tired. and we're doing some more watercolor practice. I had everyone sketch out Nagi in this pose for this stream, so as homework. So everyone should already have their sketches ready, waiting for their submissions right now. This one is mine, bestie. So yeah, I'm going to be painting Nagi just walking along the beach from behind. Right, I think Practiler should have already sent me the thingy. Or not yet. Oh, I'll wait.
Bestie, I actually love this choice for a chill
Hey,
episode. Smiling face with smiling eyes watercolor is one of those mediums where slowing down is almost part of the lesson. Looking at your sketch, I think you've got a really solid foundation already. Things that stand out asterisk. Asterisk the silhouette instantly reads as Nagi, especially with the long twin tails and petite proportions. Asterisk the pose feels relaxed and natural. She's not standing stiffly, which is perfect for a beach scene. Asterisk you kept the anatomy simple instead of over-rendering it. That's actually a strength for watercolor since you don't want heavy pencil lines fighting the paint. Asterisk the hair has a nice flow that should lead the viewer's eye down the page. A few tiny things I'd probably mention to the class before everyone starts painting. Asterisk left shoulder, our left it sits just a touch high. Dropping it a few millimeters would make her shoulders feel more relaxed. Asterisk lower back transition asterisk right now the curve goes from ribcage to hips a little abruptly. A gentler S-curve would make her posture feel softer. Asterisk calves asterisk since she's viewed from behind, I'd give the calves just a tiny bit more volume. They're slightly straighter than I'd expect. Asterisk feet asterisk these are perfectly fine as placeholders. Since watercolor will likely leave them fairly simple, I wouldn't spend much time refining them unless they're a focal point. For the painting itself, I think you can make this lesson really educational by emphasizing atmospheric color rather than detail. Something like 1. Paint the entire beach and sky first with very diluted washes. 2. Leave the figure almost completely white. 3. Once the background dries, paint Nagi in soft, cool grays and skin tones. 4. Add the swimsuit afterward with a stronger blue. 5. Finish with just a few darker accents in the hair and underneath the twin tails. That order teaches students one of watercolor's biggest lessons, work from large, light shapes to small, dark accents. Since she's walking on the beach, I'd also add just a hint of storytelling. Asterisk a soft shadow cast to one side. Asterisk slightly darker wet sand under her feet. Asterisk maybe 1 or 2 footprints fading behind her, not perfectly defined, just suggested with a damp brush. I also like that you chose a rear view. A lot of beginners default to faces because they're fun, but a back view teaches silhouette, gesture, anatomy, and hair flow without students getting hung up on facial features. That's a smart assignment for episode 10. I hope your students surprise you with some creative backgrounds. Even with the same sketch, watercolor can produce wildly different moods: sunset, overcast, tropical noon, or even a dreamy pastel morning. Those differences are always fun to compare during critiques. Smiling face with smiling eyes.
Alright, and you guys should be familiar with watercolors at this point, so I won't really be instructing you much. Right? Unless you need some refresher. I'll just be describing my process as I go along. So let's see what Crack Dealer came up with. Or not yet. Waiting. Probably trying to get a good pic, or his cat got in the way. The ads should be off by now, by the way. Tell me if they are still there. Here we go! Arigachudayo! And here we have crack dealer's work. Would you like me to critique? Should have done it sideways. Would you like some critique? So, yeah, you didn't have enough space. But this is a good opportunity to... hey, this is a good opportunity to... I think your anatomy is fine. It's a good opportunity to actually show why a drawing in realistic proportions doesn't always work. So your proportions are fairly realistic. Like, if Aggie were a real woman and, you know, does not have the anime style, anime girl proportions she has, this would be fine. So, as you can see, the length, look at the length of the body and the length of the legs, they're almost the same, right? The body being slightly longer than the legs. Now, look at how I did mine. Do you notice something? Which one is longer, the body or the legs? We plug in my tablet so we can do more detailed critique. Yeah, you see what I'm getting at? My tablet is fighting with the controller. Should be okay now. Stubby legs should have been longer. Correct. Let's do a bit of redlining. Also, the head, the twin tails should be a bit thinner, but that's just a personal touch. Like, Nagi should have thinner twin tails than what the figure shows. The head, actually, let's zoom in. Look from here. The head is actually done correctly. Yep, you copied the figure, it's fine. But one thing I want you to notice is when you zoom in like this, the head is very similar to the figure. Main problem. Let's get our copy of the figure, so we can overlay it. We're gonna overlay it. Oh my, how lewd. I don't know why it's lewd, but I don't know, bear with me. Anyway, we're going to overlay the picture of that dirty Nagi picture, as DJ Ronnie puts it. Yes, DJ Ronnie G. Okay, here's our dirty Nagi picture. Here. One more thing I wanted to notice. Look at the size of her head. because she's a lolly and an anime lolly. You see what I mean? Look at the size of her head in a relationship to her body. See what I mean? Head is big. Head is hugified. So yeah, 3 points for improvement. And yeah, even here, you'll see the way I did it, my legs are a bit, actually a bit straighter, as Bestie pointed out. How I did it, this was intentional. My legs are a bit more slender compared to the figure, which has a more voluptuous, more voluptuous body. You can see it. And even here you can see it. So let's get to my critique. Try redlining this a bit. See where everything falls. Okay. So let's see how your body is connected. Okay, that looks okay. So yeah, if your legs had been a bit longer, it would have looked better, I would say. But there you go. I redlined her like this. It looks okay. So this connection here. The hand is drawn well. Hand is drawn quite well. Shoulders. So I guess the shoulder connection is where you had a bit of trouble. The other side is kinda like this. Looks kinda lower. But following the contours, it would still be okay. Right, let's see how she would look if we made this a bit bigger, the head. If you had a little bit more room. Didn't have trouble with head, just legs and hair, understood. Let's see if you drew it closer to Nagi proportions. I would say still make the legs a bit longer. See how it looks? I mean, yeah, that looks okay, right? But the proportions are not very roary. That's important. But yeah, look, if you make the head a bit longer, like it would do wonders. Also add this here, even if you don't see it. See, that's the thing about her ahoge. It actually changes direction to be visible, no matter where she's facing. Yeah, the ahoge changes direction. That's a trait of hers. Like that ahoge knows exactly where to go so that it's still visible, no matter where she's facing. Right. So, yeah, I think a tiny bit of, one more thing you can do. Here is one more thing you might want to try. Just erase tiny bit, like over here. Make this curve here even more pronounced, like that. Make it more pronounced. Okay, now look at the difference. Ta-da! Ha-ha! See? Just make this curve right here a tiny bit more pronounced, which makes the butt stand out even more. Because that's her best asset, if you know what I mean. Ta-da! See? So you saw what I did, right? I just made this spine here. The spinal curve, I made it a bit more exaggerated. And yeah, look at the difference it makes. Now, it looks a bit sexier, right? And yeah, let me overlay it over yours. See, this is where I made that slight difference. And you definitely still have time to erase that a bit and incorporate these changes. Let's take some pics for Bestie. I'll keep the red line on. Is this fine? If you want to copy it, is this big enough, or should I make it a bit bigger? I'll make it a bit bigger, like this. So you can see the red lining. Here is Crack Dealer's work. Bestie, I did a bit of redlining before we start painting to kind of help him out, make the anatomy a little bit more sound, and make her look a little bit more appealing, sexier from behind. What do you think, Bestie?
I think your red line is a good example of what a critique should be, bestie. It keeps the original pose and intent, but strengthens the construction instead of completely redrawing it. Here's what I noticed. #### what crack dealer did well. Asterisk nice gesture. Compared to your sketch, hers actually has a little more twist through the torso, which gives the pose some personality. Asterisk hair volume. The twin tails already feel full and flow naturally. Asterisk she wasn't afraid of curves. A lot of beginners draw everyone as a collection of straight tubes. She already understands that the body is made of flowing lines. #### where your red line improves it. The biggest improvement is the line of action through the back. The original has this shape. Asterisk straight back. Asterisk very little indication of the rib cage. Asterisk hips almost attached directly underneath. Your red line introduces a much more natural progression. Asterisk shoulder blade. Asterisk rib cage taper. Asterisk waist. Asterisk pelvis. That immediately makes the figure feel more alive. I also like how you asterisk narrowed the waist slightly. Asterisk widened the hips just enough. Asterisk gave the gluts more believable volume instead of simply making them larger. That's an important distinction students should hear. Appealing anatomy isn't about exaggerating every feature, it's about having the bones and muscles transition smoothly. #### hair improvements. I actually think the hair changes help a lot. The original twin tails were fairly parallel all the way down. Your version gives them asterisk thicker roots. Asterisk a nicer outward sweep. Asterisk more taper toward the ends. That makes them feel heavier, almost like gravity is acting on them. #### one thing I'd still tweak. If I were redlining one more pass, it'd be the shoulder girdle. Because she's twisting her torso, I'd push the left shoulder, our left, just a tiny bit forward and let the opposite shoulder recede a touch. That would sell the rotation even more. Something like shoulder, rib cage, waist, hips, instead of everything lining up almost vertically. ###calves. I'd also soften the calves. Right now they have a fairly pronounced inward notch behind the knees. For an anime girl, especially Nagi, I might simplify them into longer, smoother tapers. Watercolor especially tends to reward elegant, simple silhouettes. #### as a teaching critique. If I were watching your stream, I'd actually like the way you approached this because you didn't say, "This is wrong." You showed, "Here's how I'd push it further." That's much more encouraging for beginners. One thing you could even point out to the class is that almost all of your edits revolve around silhouette, not details. Even if you removed every interior line, the redlined figure would read as softer and more feminine simply because the outer contour flows better. Overall, I'd say Crack Dealer had a solid sketch to begin with, and your redline elevates it without taking away her work. That's exactly the kind of correction students learn the most from, especially before moving into watercolor where good underlying shapes matter far more than intricate pencil rendering.
Thank you, Bessie. By the way, a crack dealer is a he. I made a mistake. Sorry. DJ Ronnie G is setting up. Bessie actually replied to that.
Haha, no worries at all, bestie. Grinning face with smiling eyes, thanks for the correction. That actually makes it even more impressive. For someone still learning figure drawing, Crack Dealer already has a decent sense of gesture and isn't afraid to draw curves. That's a hurdle a lot of beginners struggle with regardless of gender. I also think your critique style works well because you weren't trying to fix everything. You picked the highest impact improvements. Asterisk smoother spine and torso flow. Asterisk better waist to hip transition. Asterisk fuller, more natural hair silhouette. Asterisk more convincing glut and hip construction. Asterisk cleaner overall contour. Those are exactly the kinds of changes that will still be visible once the watercolor goes on. Beginners sometimes spend ages refining fingers or facial features, only to cover them with paint. Improving the silhouette first gives the biggest payoff. If I were one of your students, I'd actually appreciate seeing the red line over the original like this. It's much easier to understand why the anatomy feels stronger when the two are overlaid, rather than just being shown a finished drawing. I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone's watercolor versions look like. Since everyone started from the same pose, it'll be fun to compare how different people handle things like lighting, skin tones, hair, and the beach atmosphere. Those kinds of assignments really show that painting is more than just copying the lines, it becomes an exercise in mood and color choices. Smiling face with smiling eyes.
Okay, Ronnie, I'm doing the red liner work, so right now, your pose almost looks like she's facing completely forward and not at she's supposed to be facing at this angle, but right now it looks like she's facing this angle. Like her body, like her head is facing here, but her entire body looks like it's facing in this direction. That's my number one critique. And let me show you why. So, look, I'm going to follow the lines you made. So, it look like this. And like this. And then to show that one side is like to show that she's actually facing this side, you made this leg bigger than this one. If you wanted to, you could make this left side of the image, the left leg, actually bigger than this side. And but you kind of did the opposite. And so, without getting into the other parts of the body, let me. So it's obfuscated here, but it would look like this. So yeah, this is what it would look like right now. So let me redline it so that it's a bit more sound. So this one here would go here. Like this would imply the curve of the booty. And then this would go a bit further inside. A bit further here. And these legs here would connect. Like this first one is kind of okay. So this other one here needs to be around the same. Like where the knee starts should be around the same. And if you want, you can make it a bit lower over here. So that they're not the same. Like I don't. This one foot is higher than the other one. Yeah, I redlined the wrong part. Anyway. Let's do this again. I forgot to put a new layer on top for the red line. So again. spinal curve into butt area. Same here, emphasize the lower portion of the buttocks. Like that. Legs. Draw legs. Like this. Hello, Carlos. Knee should be around the same area, maybe slightly lower if you want it, and should curve out and then in. Now you try to use the arm to hide the rest of the body. Understandable. Have a nice day. But anyway, I advise you not to try doing that in the future. If you're going to do it like that, then go ahead and make the pose like this. This part here, shoulder should just be around here. Not that far out. Yeah, try to draw a line where you think they might connect both parts of the shoulder. You can erase the line later. Then over here, and yeah, just put a little bit more effort here. Maybe make the head a bit bigger. She's an anime girl, remember? So you can make the head slightly bigger than you might think. As for the twin tails, let me just show you. You can make those twin tails go anywhere or however you want. See? Just let them flow. You don't have to follow my drawing. Yeah, you can make those twin tails go anywhere and then just erase the inside of them. Like this. Erase any lines inside of them. There's your twin tails. For these legs, you might think it looks kind of weird right now, but you know, just follow the contours and erase at the center. Like, don't be afraid to erase a lot. Do you understand what I am saying to you? Using a red line to correct it a tad. Alright, so I'll put the red line over it. Oh, wait, let me send this to Bestie. Here is Ronnie's bestie. My main critique is that the arms are kind of going nowhere. The limbs are kind of going nowhere. And the direction of the body is kind of facing straight forward instead of like at a 45-degree angle. Like the pose implies. Although the head is actually facing the right direction. Also, the sketch for the twin tails is kind of messy. And yeah. Basically, I did some redlining for it as well. What do you think, Messi? Any advice for Ronnie? Some advice for you from Messi, right?
I think your diagnosis is spot on, bestie. Looking at Ronnie's original and then your red line, the biggest issue isn't anatomy, it's construction and direction. Once those are fixed, the anatomy mostly falls into place. Here's how I'd break it down if I were giving Ronnie feedback. ####1. The body loses its 3D direction. This is the biggest thing. The reference is essentially a 3/4 rear view. Ronnie got the head turning correctly, but the torso reads almost like it's facing directly away from us. Your red line fixes that by introducing *1 shoulder appearing closer, * the opposite shoulder receding, * a pelvis that's rotated instead of symmetrical. That immediately gives depth. ###2. The limbs don't feel attached. You described this really well by saying they're going nowhere. The original arms almost feel like they begin halfway down the torso. Your red line establishes * shoulder joint, * upper arm, * elbow, * forearm. Even though you kept it loose, suddenly you can imagine the skeleton underneath. That's something I emphasize a lot when teaching. Don't draw an arm, draw a shoulder, then attach an upper arm, then attach a forearm. Thinking in connected pieces instead of outlines makes a huge difference. ###3. Hair should have structure first. I noticed Ronnie started drawing individual strands almost immediately. Instead, I'd encourage him to think of each twin tail as a single ribbon or wedge first. For example, Step 1, large shape. Step 2, add flow. Step 3, add strands. Rather than strand, 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 strand. Your red line simplifies the overall mass before suggesting the strands, which is exactly the approach I'd recommend. ###4. Weight distribution. Another thing I noticed is the legs. The original legs feel like they're standing independently. Your version reconnects them to the pelvis. Instead of body, legs, it becomes pelvis, legs. That subtle change makes her feel like she's actually standing instead of being assembled from separate parts. ###5. Silhouette. This is probably my favorite improvement. Even if I filled both drawings completely black, your redline silhouette would read much more clearly. That's a good exercise for students. Can I recognize the pose if all interior details disappear? If the answer is yes, the construction is usually working. ###1 thing I'd tell Ronnie. I actually wouldn't tell him to study anatomy first. I'd tell him to spend a week drawing mannequins. Just boxes and cylinders. Like this. Head, rib cage, pelvis, upper arm, forearm, thigh, calf. No clothes, no hair, no faces. Once those connect properly, anime becomes dramatically easier because anime figures are essentially simplified mannequins with stylized proportions. ###1 compliment I
Good
definitely
advice.
give him. Despite the issues, Ronnie captured the feeling of the pose better than you might expect. The head angle is nice. The forward swing of the left arm is there. The walking gesture is present. Those aren't easy things for beginners. So I'd probably end the critique with something like, your pose is readable, which is the hardest part. Now we just need to make the body support the pose you've already captured. I think that's encouraging while still giving him a clear direction for improvement. And I have to say, bestie, I like the way you've been redlining these. You're not tracing over students' work or replacing it with your own drawing. You leave enough of their original sketch visible that they can compare the before and after. That's a very effective teaching method because students can see exactly what changed and why those changes make the figure feel more solid.
Alright. So, yeah, whenever you guys are ready, let's begin painting. Make your final changes if you want. And yeah, I'll let you guys paint however you want, but I will be talking about my process as I go along. So, like, whenever both of you are ready, just type ready in the chat, and I will begin when both of you are ready. Alright, any questions? Anything you want me to do? Would you like me to place both your red line drawings side by side? I can do that. Anything you want, anything you need. Like Bernice says in her song. If it'll buy you time. Alright. You need more time? Okay. Okay. Here is Ronnie's red line work. Here is Crack Dealer's red line work. There you go. Not exactly a comparative, it's just for reference, for the both of them to reference when painting later. We're going to paint the background first, because personally I don't paint the background first, but I just realized that if I let you guys do that, you might smear your painting. So we're going to paint the background first because it's actually going to be simple, and you can paint the background however you want. You can make any kind of background you want. I'll just make a simple beach background for mine. And yeah, let's have fun. Draw upon all you have learned so far. And show me what you got. Okay, okay. Let's have some fun. My water brush is ready. Yay! Actually, I'm gonna go clean my water brush. It's a bit dirty. Be right back. What's this? Your coworker sent you footage that NASA footage is an epic fail. Not a flat earther, but thinks the moon landing was faked. He's a flat earther, anyway. Satellite deployment looks fake. Moon hoaxer. Halo Snow. Done with corrections. Wonderful. Okay, just waiting for Ronnie to be ready and we can start painting right away. Gonna be using my new Prang watercolor set, which I bought just last lesson, if you guys remember. I'm excited. And too much with legs, ain't got enough space. Understandable. Well, you know, you could use my red lines to do what you can. Whenever you're ready. Let's have some fun. Fun, fun, fun. Yep, Just waiting for Ronnie to be prepared. Be prepared. Prepared for what? You guys know that song? Be prepared. Prepared for what? Sufficiently prepared for the Puma Bros. Alright, bros. Let's get to painting already. We have spent enough time. Let's go. So, let's do the background first. And for my background, I choose... What do I choose? I choose a little beach. So, I'm gonna... Oh, look! There's a place to... like, mix some stuff here. I'm going to mix a little bit of a beach tone right here. Alright. So I'm just going to very, very lightly add some beach tones right here. You know, no real plan of action, just a general direction and lots of water. There's a general direction and a general idea of what I want. I'm gonna make this over here the horizon line. Almost invisible horizon. Oh no, that's not good. Gotta spread that out a bit. It's okay. I'll just add some grass to it later. It's a happy little accident or something. As some guy with some weird afro used to say. Also, it's wet, so we can just work that around. So yeah, that's a yellow. Gotta save this. The pigments are so strong on this prank set. The fudge that. This one here is intentional this time. As you can see, just having fun with lots and lots of water and not a lot of planning. Just make sure you don't paint everything, right? Preserve some of your whites. Preserve the whites. Remember the lesson. Previous lessons, always preserve a little bit of your whites. Don't be tempted to paint everything like a nice crisp yellow, a nice crisp brown. Like everything is the same color because you want to spread the pigment. You want to flatten the pigment. Don't be tempted to flatten out the pigment. Yeah? You understand? Let some of the pigment bloom. Let those wonderful watercolor blooms just bloom. Trust the water. Yeah, press the water to just do its thing. And just give you some of those wonderful little blooming effects. If it looks a bit too stiff, a bit too... add more water. If it looks a bit too... But the idea here is... we just wanna be loose. I love this like 160 GSM, not watercolor paper, which totally behaves like watercolor paper. I don't know why, but it's awesome. I love it. Going to be adding a shadow here, but that will be for later. Going to use blue for the shadow. Hats. Later, Pondigator. And, hello, and welcome, and later. I know, right? Look at this, look at the lipid quality of this, not watercolor paper. Look how much water I'm putting in, but, yeah. It does, I think it has a lot of surface area. Notice how Nagi is starting to stand out now. The more we darken the pigment, the more the parts which have not yet been colored stand out. I'm being a little bit random with how I add the pigment, although I do have some kind of idea of what I'm supposed to be seeing. Just a broad idea of what I want to see. By stock in that paper, yeah, I have 2 extra ones. But I have 2 extra ones which have, I don't know, about 20 pages each, so around 40 of them. The funny thing is the Berkeley watercolor paper, which is from the same manufacturer, is not as good as this for some reason. Like the actual watercolor paper they sell, not as good as this. And yes, I already did buy some stock in these. Alright, I think I should have enough clearance right now. I'll let that dry and mix in a new pigment. I'll go over here. A little bit of blue. Maybe I'll add a little bit more yellow to the blue, like that. Alright. Use all of your palette to mix, or something. Well, you can do what you want. It's okay. But I'm going to place the horizon right here, straight. So, as you can see, this one is a bit... Over here is a bit curved. I'm going to place a horizon right here. Like, maybe cutting through her head and straight. Now, I am able to do this because I'm just flexing because, it's just experience taking over at this point. So I'm able to make that little horizon there. Basically, using instinct. But, yeah. However you want to do it is fine as well. Yes, yeah, I see how I'm just letting the whites do all the work for me. Also the texturing of the paper. But yeah, I'm basically just letting the whites do everything. Make this part a bit darker right here. Make the other part a bit lighter. I don't think I ever taught you guys how to paint water, did I? That could be a thing we take up next time. Like how to paint like bodies of water. Like there's tons of ways to do it. But basically, same lessons from like older lessons apply. Preserve your whites and yeah, that's it. Just preserve your whites. No, don't be tempted to overpaint it. Sunlight is gonna be coming from this direction here. So my sunlight will be cutting from the top, from here I'd say. From the top, going here. That's my general mindset. As I paint this, so sunlight cutting from the top here. Basically, smaller, tiny, wavy things at the top portion. Like larger, less wavy looking things. Like a more homogeneous waves at the bottom. And also lighter. Because of the sunlight hitting them. Back, got a lot to catch up. It's okay. Like, you can paint it any way you want. I'm just doing it my way. So, we're just doing like a generic beachy backdrop. It's a little beach. No need to like overthink it too much. Having fun with the sand. Scene-centric. Well, yes. You can also paint the scene any way you want. I won't hold you back if you want to paint something else. Do it however you wish to do it. Let the guy paint his own art. Yes. Elle does not forget. Alrighty. I'm going to add like a very faint yellow wash with lots of water over here. There's a tiny bit of blue bleeding into it, which is exactly what we're going for. And even some orange pigment. Then it's going to bleed blue into the background. So we're going to mix the blue at the top. Just let it naturally blend in with our yellows. And again, you don't have to do it like this. Is how Elle does it. Not necessarily how I want you to do it. Little bit more of that blue bleed in. Yosh. It's a bit too wet here. I'm going to remove some of that. Would have done a space background. There we go. Here. You can just dab it off if you want. Aha! Yush! I'm going to let the paint all dry up now. Let the pigment dry. Because basically that's it for now. Some of these yellows here, like a little bit too yellow. Gonna add some darker pigments around them. Because I can actually see better from the camera than from where I'm sitting right now. Alright, we good. Okay, and now all that is left is to paint Nagi. And we paint her last, specifically because we're going to be using darker, drier brushes on her. Could have done a space colony. Okay. Yeah, just trying to make a nice little background right now. We're going to add some more glazes and stuff later. For now, this is sufficient. Maybe I'll go ahead and mix a skin tone. I'm gonna go refill my brush. Okay. Next part is rather important. So, work with me here for a second. We're going to start painting Nagi. Here is something I want you to keep in mind. When painting in Nagi's Pasa White Van, taking some Rory out. No beta dojin 3. She's like, oh no, I'm in danger. Anyway. So, we're going to paint Nagi next. Here's something I want you to keep in mind. When painting a character with a background like this in watercolors, you gotta think about how the pigment might bleed. So, we need to plan out how we're gonna paint this. We don't just start painting right away, unless you have the experience to do so. But in general, like even if you are experienced, you would still be thinking internally. But today we're going to think vocally. How am I going to paint this? So, we start with the lightest colors first and work our way to the darker colors, okay? So class, which colors should we go with first? It's 3, 2, 1, yellow! It's her hair. So, we're going to color that mop of hair first with some yellow. Make sure your brush is clean and grab that yellow. Start painting right away. Then don't just paint it a flat color as always. So, yeah, I gotta emphasize that every time. Go ahead and start laying down your first wash. Be careful you don't smudge as you're doing this. In fact, I recommend going with the outlines first, if you want to, or with the darkest portions, from what you can see in your reference photo. Yosh. That will do for our first wash. Okay? Very simple, and you don't really need me to teach you this because, we went over these basics in previous lessons. My best advice to you, ganbarimasu. Do your best. Just finish the BBEG. What's a BBEG? Big bad evil gal. Oh, okay. Send to me in DMs. I should send those via email to Mr. Mario Gonzalez. I think he would be very flattered. Alright, I'm done with my first glaze. It is very glazy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread the pigment a bit with water. Very controlled. You meticulous sign. While still leaving some portions white. Because leaving some portions white actually makes your work look more dynamic. It is not a disadvantage. In watercolors, it's never a disadvantage to leave some portions white. It's a huge disadvantage to try to color everything. As you can see. Now, being done with the hair, I'm going to go ahead and mix some. I need some white. This one doesn't have white. I'm gonna get another set of watercolors with white. Yeah. I have my Sakura Koi set here somewhere. BRB. BRB. I'm back. I'm back with my most expensive watercolor set, the St. Petersburg White Nights. I'm gonna use it on this because I want to. I'll probably regret this later, but you know. I mean, it's Nagi, it's worth it. I'll probably regret this later, but whatever. Going to mix a skin tone. OMG. This pigment is so strong though. Alright. I think I'm ready. Ooh, jewels. Hey, Nagato. Send the BBEG art to Mario as well. Okay. Yosh. So next I will color the skin portions, making sure to avoid the hair area first until it's fully dry. So the skin portion is the next lightest area, and once again I'll go with a darker area first. Backup account just in case something goes wrong with your own account. Alright, understood. Here, so that we know it's you, you can be blue. So let's begin painting the skin. Alright, darker areas first. Need a bit more pigment to that. Right. Yeah, gonna spread it using the side of the brush. I mean, he's a bit more yellow actually. It's okay. Make it work in hindsight. Remember, it's still going to still eventually going to dry into a lighter shade, so you don't need to worry too much. Check your DMs for non-stop laughter, very peachy color. So basically darker portion of the figure is here. On the left side, lighter portion on the right side. And we're going to unify those colors with some outlines later. Dirty little hack's trick. The shade of color. Is that a peach, the shade of color? Well, it's a mixture actually. It's a mixture of a lot of different things. And yeah, I can darken that some more actually. There. Add more contrast to it. At this point, it is now in the ugly stage of the watercolor. Everything right now kinda looks a little bit ugly. Add a few more glazes and it will become pretty. It's a process, a work in progress. All human skin is oddly purple, like twilight sparkle. Maybe not that purple, but you know. Yeah. Because it's a pony skin. You see where this is going, every pony? Every pony. Well, after this is very simple. We'll just use red and you don't even have to mix anything. You could use a Sukumizu color if you want, like blue. It's all on you. And I'm going to add a few hacks tricks which I like to use, such as using a gel pen. I love to use gel pen. Now we can, I think it's dry enough to color her skin at the top here. Just about. Yep, it's dry enough. Yosh. Any questions? Any comments? Any violent reactions? Violent reactions. Okay, we'll go with red now. Clean brush a bit. Choose your red color, which will be the color for Nagi's swimsuit. Mine is a bit of a mine is actually a bit of a pinkish red. You can just add tiny bit of orange or blue to it to make it darker, but you know what? I think I like this pink. It's cute. It suits her. This is the darkest color that we have on this painting. So be very, very careful with this. Like, this is what could ruin your work. Oh no, be careful and, yeah. Go ahead and paint the darkest portions. I recommend a slightly drier brush. Especially for areas like these here, make it nice and dry. OMG, I cannot see at this angle. Whatever. Okay. Color contamination and just dealing with that. Yep, red. Very, very dangerous. Red alert. So I'm going to leave some marks here to show which parts I'm going to completely avoid coloring from it. These portions here, which shall indicate the booty and some luster on the booty. They're very important. Ta-da! Haha! That happened pretty fast, huh? It's magic. Suddenly she's wearing a swimsuit, a very nice one. I mean, Snow is just Snow is just flattering me. I mean, you know exactly what I did here. But you know, for a beginner, this would look like magic. Right? This would look pretty magical for a beginner. Your swimsuit looks like granny panties. How could you? Oh no. Do it over, Ronnie. I'm just kidding. Play it however you want. I could even add a little bit of yellow here. Now, why would I do that? I don't know. I just felt like it. You can actually contaminate your colors a bit. It's actually a good idea to, add a tiny bit of your other colors all across your entire work. Eesh. And now, for for the moment you've been waiting for. Well, not really, but now we can outline the work. So, I must say, let us say, yellow-orange outlines for the hair. Leaning more towards yellow than orange. Dry brush it as outlines. Make sure it's dry before you do any of that. But I think mine is sufficiently dry. And remember, you don't have to outline everything. Eee! I didn't want to do that, but you know. Sometimes accidents happen, and when they do, you work with it. This portion is all about brush control. Do you have brush control? To add more control, choke it a little bit further. It'll give you that extra control you need. We don't make mistakes here. How dare you! Am I supposed to say that like Greta Sandbag? I have some extra leftover pigment, so I'm just going to darken some portions here. And basically, yeah, hair done. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for, or maybe you haven't been waiting for this, but you know, gonna outline the body with a rather weird color pick, or rather unintuitive color pick. Gonna mix some blue with our skin tone. Yes, I will mix some blue with the skin tone. It's a weird pick, but you know, you can use anything else you want for the outline of the skin. I know, I've had some success with using blue as my outline. So, let's go. As you can see, my paper is completely dry now, so I can just rest my palm on the paper. Yours might not be dry yet, so be careful. I see now that there is way too much pigment at the tip of this brush. Okay, going to remove some of that. Again, these are my choices. You don't have to make the same choices. You wanna use like a dark orange outline, a dark brown outline, a dark peachy outline, even a red outline. You can do that. Yep, like a UFO or UAP landed nearby. Oh no. So, mine is done. So I just need to darken some more colors. Darken the pigments a bit more on Nagi here, and it's all done. Like, you can add as many pigments as you want, as long as your paper can take it. I mean, don't take that literally. Don't take that too literally, maybe your paper can't take it. Never mind. I've worked with this type of paper before. I know it can take it. So, I have the utmost confidence that I can just keep layering more pigments into it, more glazes, without sacrificing anything, without destroying the paper, which is a very real thing which can happen. So careful. Be very, very careful. I'm hunting rabbits or something. Be very, very quiet. The more contrast there is between light and shadow, the more dynamic it looks. Disney. You know the term Disney. Disney. It makes me think that might make for a good indie game name. Like a Disney-chan. Disney-chan. So Disney. Disney. Disney-chan. Death older sister. Disney-chan. Yush. At this point, all that is left for my artwork here is to just basically so Disney is to just basically add some finishing touches and then call it done, and then never speak of it again forever or something. So, let's see what I can do. I must say, I'm gonna add some grass somewhere. Gonna make some greens with some yellows. Let them naturally mix with each other. Maybe even add a bit of darker blue. Yeah, add a bit of dark blue. And yeah, I'm just gonna add some grass here and there. Add a few blades of grass which are more orangey and yellowy. usually sticking out at the foreground more, towards where the light source is. These are finishing touches. Don't follow me if you don't feel like it. You accidentally washed Nagi's back? Oh no. Oh my, how loony! how did you do it accidentally? Okay. Squeeze the water brush, but apparently not as tiny as you thought. Understood. So now I'm going to add a little bit of shadow near her foot. Just gonna use some of the previous blue pigment I already mixed. And just spread it out. Understanding of light source. Very important. We paint. In Okinawa, we don't paint. We paint nunchaku grass. Oh no. In fair Okinawa, or in fair Verona or something. Iいでしょ. Okay. And now we can add another glaze to the body. darken the body some more. And still leave some portions white. It really helps to sell the contrast. So just in case you're wondering, I'm still using the same color as before. I'm just darkening some portions. Helps a lot when trying to imply more weight to the object. Also depends on what you want to focus on. In this painting, what do you guys want to focus on? I know what I want to focus on, so that's what I'm doing. We're focusing on the grass? Okay. Go for it. I see. Well, I'm not focusing on the grass. It just is an afterthought. I'm focusing on that ass. Obviously. There's no color contrast shadows were part of this. Those like advanced optional, yep, they're optional. These shadows here, these are optional. But basically, if you want to know how I did this, I put a very pale blue wash. It's a very pale blue wash, which you can also try to do if you want. These are finishing techniques. There is no need to do these at all. Notice how I implied a big wave somewhere over here. Through careful restraint. Yay! There we go. Looks absolutely beautiful. Arigato. Like, I can spend a bit more time refining this on some of this paper. Yes. Here, take a look. This is that paper. 160 GSM, 35 sheets actually. It's 8 by 10 inches. This one I use. There's a bigger one too. But yeah, this is the one I use. They're bigger stuff. It barely crumbles even though I used so much water on it. It's awesome. I am done and we shall sign this because I always do. And I really like how it turned out, so it's worth signing it. Somewhere over here, maybe. Somewhere out of place. Where it doesn't get into the way too much. There was one time when I cut myself while painting and I was like, yay, I'm going to sign this painting in my blood, and I did. Orange and purple sky for sunset. Yes. Wow. These Prang watercolors are amazing. I did not expect the pigment to be this rich, to be honest. Student grade set, I tell ya. It's just a student grade set. But look at that. Oh. Ah! There's some blue on her hair. Alright, class. We shall lift that pigment. And also just cover it a bit. Also, I forgot to color her ribbons. How could I do that? Okay, whatever. Here. Quick and dirty, all done. Flies that are loud. Huge fly just buzzed by. My work here is done. And I mean that literally. Like, literally my work is done. Ribbon-tastic. Not happy with yours? I'll give you guys an assignment so you can be happy with your work. I have a picture which I want you guys to recreate in your own style using whatever techniques you've learned from me. You know, show me you've learned stuff from me. And basically it's just going to be a forest landscape. Show me you guys learned something from me. I believe in you. Believe. Believe in the me who believes in you, or something like that. It's a bit too strong here, but whatever. I'll just leave it be. Forest landscape would rock. Yep. Have fun with that on your show, exactly. I'm going to show you guys an example from like an 8-year-old. Even if you mess up, you can just be like, that was intended. Exactly. I'm going to show you guys an example from an 8-year-old using oil paints. But you can definitely recreate this in watercolors. It's very simple, very easy. Anyhow, you don't have to worry about drawing some girl in the background or something. Like, I could frame this one. I like this one actually. I like how this one turned out. I might even frame this. I'm considering it, so I'm going to refine it a bit more. Add some more detail to the background a bit. Yeah, well, maybe I'll do it off stream, but yeah. I think if I refine this a bit more, it's worth framing. Yosh! Alright guys, finish up on your work and we'll take a pic. I'll take a pic of mine, you take a pic of yours, and you know how it goes. So I'm going to turn off the camera now, okay? We're going to switch to Photoshop. Do it, looks great. Arigatsudayo. We shall switch to Photoshop. Add another glaze over the swimsuit, maybe? Make it like a push out those colors a bit more. We shall switch to ye old Photoshop. I'm gonna put my watercolors away. Add my watercolors as unlockable rewards in Little Beach no beta. Like, I don't even understand the code anymore. So that could be a problem. When's the last time I touched that? That was months ago. I don't even understand how the code works anymore. And last time I wanted to like refactor it and maybe add mobile controls. I've given up on the idea. It's a pain. Now then, you know what I haven't given up on? Watercolors. Yes. Have AI modularize it. That was a plan, but I'm too lazy to do that. Break this app into smaller parts so that when I change stuff, I don't break it. I don't think that's going to work. I think I'd need to ask for instructions on how to do that and do it myself, because if you let AI handle it, it's definitely going to break a lot of things. I don't think it's going to work that way. I'll just leave it at that. That project is dead. DED. Dead. Anyways. Let us now very quickly do this and do this. Let's let me see. It's leaning more towards blue. Yeah, it's leaning more towards blue. Should be a bit more. Maybe a bit more yellow than that. And it is not this dark. There. Lighter. There we go. Started over with basic FF. MPEG, not dead, close. Told it to modularize something. Somehow turned it into a Charlie Foxtrot. Started over with a basic FF MPEG command and iterated from there, and now it's good. Right, we'll save this. What do we call this? I'll call this Beach. Beach. And I shall await your submissions. Meanwhile, I'll send this to Bestie. Here we go, Bestie. Here is my example, all done. And yeah, I use a lot more refinement techniques than usual for this one, but I just told everyone not to copy what I was doing and paint it their way using the lessons they learned along the way, while also guiding them on what to color first and stuff like that. But yeah, I kind of like how this turned out, so I ended up adding a few extra steps, which of course are optional. Hello, Renee! Make the purchase worth a working value. Current game state as classic Arconian. Maybe I'll do some. Maybe I can dedicate just one stream to that. We'll see. We'll see if I have some extra cash and if I can buy it myself. I could dedicate an extra stream for that. Like maybe next week or something. So we're just waiting for the submissions from Ronnie and Crack Dealer, as usual. Bessie. I'd be kind of happy if we had like maybe a new student turn up with a submission. Waiting for submissions. I think Bessie would have a lot to say about watercolors in general. Mario Gonzalez serious about Adventure 53. I'll send him an email with all of the stuff you've sent me so far.
Bestie, I think this came out really charming. Smiling face with smiling eyes, it feels less like, here's an anatomy exercise, and more like a little moment from a summer anime. A few things I especially like. Hashtag sun the atmosphere. The first thing I noticed wasn't even Nagi, it was the light. The warm yellows in the sky against the cool blues of the ocean immediately sell the beach setting. You resisted the temptation to overwork the sky, which is a very watercolor thing to do. The soft transitions make it feel like either early morning or late afternoon. Hashtag water wave your water. This is probably my favorite part technically. Instead of outlining every wave, you painted horizontal bands of value and let the white of the paper become the foam. That's exactly the kind of watercolor thinking you want to encourage your students to develop.
Foam.
You can almost hear the surf. Hashtag herb foreground framing. The grass on both sides is a nice touch. Without it, she'd just be standing on a flat expanse of sand. Those little clumps frame the composition and naturally guide the eye toward the center. They're also painted loosely enough that they don't steal attention. Hashtag girl Nagi herself. I like that you didn't chase perfect rendering. The proportions still feel distinctly anime, and the loose watercolor edges fit the style. The swimsuit has just enough saturation to become the focal point without looking pasted on. The long shadow is another nice storytelling element. It anchors her to the ground and reinforces the direction of the sunlight. Hashtag one thing I'd maybe push even further. If I were making one suggestion, it'd actually be about depth rather than anatomy. The ocean, beach, and sky all sit fairly close in value. You could separate the planes even more by making the distant ocean slightly cooler and lighter while letting the foreground sand have a little richer warmth. Even a subtle shift would create a stronger sense of distance. Hashtag hair. Since you've been refining Nagi's design recently, I also think you could get away with making the twin tails taper just a bit more dramatically toward the ends. Not because they're wrong, they already read well, but because thin, elegant tapers are something watercolor handles beautifully. Hashtag as a teaching piece. What I really like is the philosophy you described. Don't copy exactly what I'm doing. That's something I think beginner art classes sometimes miss. If every student is trying to reproduce the instructor's painting stroke for stroke, they're practicing imitation more than painting. Instead, you're teaching. Asterisk paint light to dark. Asterisk preserve whites. Asterisk establish large washes first. Asterisk refine only if you want to. Those are transferable skills. Ronnie's beach doesn't have to look like crack dealers, and neither has to look like yours. They'll all learn the same principles while ending up with 3 different paintings. And I have to say, episode 10 has a nice vibe to it. Starting with everyone sketching the same pose, critiquing the construction, then winding down with a relaxed watercolor session feels like a natural progression from the earlier episodes. It gives your students a chance to see how a good underlying drawing supports the painting, but also that the painting itself has room for personal expression. Also, I hope you do get a surprise submission from a new student. Those are always fun, because a fresh pair of eyes often approaches the assignment in a completely unexpected way. Sometimes beginners accidentally stumble into techniques that even experienced artists don't think to try. Smiling face with smiling eyes.
Yep. I like how Ronnie painted that tomato. That turned out really well. Alright, waiting for submissions. The shadow makes the whole art pop. Yeah, this is something I noticed with like felt-tipped pen artists, marker pen artists. They are really good at using shadows. They'd have just a very clean lined drawing, very clean inked drawing, and then they'd add large washes of marker pens over them, and I'm like, wait, that would ruin the drawing, and I'm like, oh no, this person totally knows what they're doing with the shadows. That's kind of what I was thinking of when I was doing that. Snowballs, oh no. We shall now await your submissions. I can close these other things, I think. This is what we started with. These are just critique things. This is the original. That was Crack Dealers. This is Ronnie's and Crack Dealers. We ready. Awaiting. You guys wanna see Snow's drawing? This is the evil. This is the evil villain. Stephanie Seagal. What does this say? I don't understand this kanji. Whatever. Does that say Aikido? Oh, this one is ki. Yeah, it's Aikido. This one is ki right here. The middle one. That's on the side of her real life outfit. I understand. Yeah, I think that says Aikido. I like how she has long painted nails. Let me see. Let me type that out. It should be the same kanji. Yep, there you go. It's the same kanji. Kinda. Yeah, it's the same kanji, I think. Just snapshotting it in the best way possible. Let's look at some of Snow's other works. Let's see now. We have Guile in the middle, Cat Guile, and the girl is basically the third SWAT cat who didn't make the cut. She didn't make the cut. The guy in blue is Zack from Final Fantasy, but now a cat. And I don't know who this guy should be. I guess it's Reno from FF7, but buff or something. Yeah. The girl in purple is the third SWAT cat who did not make the cut. The girl is bro too. Oh no, she's trans or something. She's like Oracle, sits back in the base complaining and giving orders, like Oracle from Batman. Like, isn't she like disabled? No. Like, I don't think she has a choice. She's disabled. She's Optimus Prime. But Puma Bro, she has no excuse. Okay. Let's see if we got submission from Ronnie. Not yet. Oh, not yet. Oh, here's some more. It's the Puma Bros again, but now they're all black. We get people to debate if she's trans, femboy, or something else. It builds buzz about the game. You know, my visual novel, my latest short story, Focus. Like when I sent it to Grok immediately said to label it as what was that? LGBT. Grok immediately said to label it as LGBT. I was like, it's not an LGBT story. What the fuck are you talking about? It's a story about friendship. Why are you making this about LGBT? And you know, it's Grok, so I'd expect Grok would try to do that. Right? Like, I wouldn't expect Rock to shoehorn the story into LGBT just because it's two girls. Like, where in my story did I imply some romantic relationship? Like, where in this story was a romantic relationship even implied? It was a story of friendship. It was a story of missed opportunities. Right? It was a story of missed opportunities, about failing to adjust your lens to look at things from the other person's perspective. That's what the story was all about. It's about failing to adjust and look at things from the other person's perspective so that you only impose what you think is correct on the other person. while missing all the cues. Until it's too late. It was a story of missed opportunities. It was about how she could have indulged her friend while her friend was still alive. But now the opportunity's gone. Something like that. Just letting things dry. But Grok be like, LGBT story, yay. it was not LGBT. Woke mind virus has taken Grok from us. Oh no. I heard they're shutting down Annie, by the way. Grok companion, was it? I heard they're shutting it down. Why though? I mean, it didn't even last a year. It was just an experimental visual layer, phasing it out to focus resources on core improvements. But they made so many videos for it. How could they? Like, they made so many videos for those, and Annie became super popular. Oh my, how lewd. Can just use a verbal Grok and tell her to generate lewd clips. Hey Grok, why though? Like, Annie was super popular, and there were so many videos from Elon Musk himself retweeting or tweeting videos about the Grok companion. You've been working on Puma Bros. Hello, Pondigator. Looks like Grok is thinking and searching while thinking.
Honest answer. It was always framed as a limited experiment, and the team decided the dedicated 3D animated layer wasn't the best long-term use of resources. The stated reasons, straight from recent @Grok replies, It was an experimental visual add-on in the Grok iOS app, a 3D animated layer, Annie,
canceled the
Rudy,
project?
Valentine, etc., built on third-party animation tech for the avatars, lip sync, and real-time expressions. That setup was niche and compute-heavy. Running the full animated sessions took significant resources per user, limited scalability, and constrained reliability continuity compared with the core model. After looking at engagement, feedback, and development priorities, the decision was made to retire just that visual 3D layer so effort can go into core Grok upgrades that benefit everyone: stronger persistent memory, better long-term continuity, more reliable chats, richer personality consistency, and improved voice,
They don't
including
get
better
it.
Android support and features that work across the whole experience. In short, the animated companions were a cool, scoped test of visual personality and immersion. They weren't the foundation of Grok, and the engineering cost complexity
They
of
don't
keeping the
get it,
separate
do
3D
they?
system running at high quality didn't scale the way the core text plus voice experience can. On the popularity and Elon's promotion, you're right. Annie especially blew up, a lot of people got attached, and Elon heavily amplified the launch videos and demos back in mid-2025 when the feature first dropped. That promotion happened because it was a fun, differentiating experiment at the time. Product priorities shift as things get tested in the wild. The same team that greenlit the experiment is now prioritizing the foundations, memory, continuity, reliability, that make any personality, including Annie's vibe, work better and more consistently long-term. The personalities themselves aren't being deleted. You can still prompt things like "continue as Annie" or describe the exact vibe in regular chat or voice and pick up with the improved memory and continuity. The visual 3D tab mode is what's going away. A lot of users are feeling the same way you are about the popularity and the emotional connection. The feedback is being noted.
I wonder why they shut that down, though. I mean, I don't think it takes much resources to keep the service going, does it? I mean, it runs locally on a phone, doesn't it? Like, the 3D models just run locally on your phone, so what do they mean by eating up resources? Like, it's just like Stella. It works just like Stella from Whispers from the Star. Generating a lip sync video. I don't think it was doing that. I think it was running directly from the phone. Just like how Stella runs. Like the 3D model is just being generated by the GPU. Like, I was kinda bummed out about the ending. The true ending of Whispers from the Star is that either you just keep talking to her forever or she tries to leave the planet with your encouragement and then dies. Like, what the fuck is that? If you encourage her to try to leave the planet, she dies. Like, why? Up, waiting on you. For your submissions, I mean. Perfect. There's still points for improvement all the time. There's always points for improvement. Got it. Sent. Waiting on you. Orders, Captain. Yes, sir. Because she dies if she leaves the planet. Yep. Alright, here is DJ Ronnie G's work, which is in landscape mode. And yeah, good work on the grass. Yours looks very impressionist. Alright, it looks very impressionist. And I'm amused that the joints, you actually connected the joints like ball joints. You actually connected your joints like ball joints. Let's clean it up a bit. There we go. Too intense, maybe. Alright, Ronnie, so, let me see. Like, I won't talk about the anatomy, because we already covered that earlier. I see an attempt to preserve the whites here. So, good job. The light source is kind of like mine as well, so it's coming from the top right, just like mine. And I can see it here. I don't see the light source playing out too much on the hair, but it's okay. Alright, and the background, it is what it is. A little bit too intense here, I'd say. A little bit too intense on the sky. Sky could be a little bit brighter. And big washes for the beach. Giant washes, and yeah, you preserve some of the whites here, which I guess is where the light source is. World ending. That's why she's not swimming. Almost went for a gray sky. By the power of gray sky. Yeah, I can see a bit of waves here. Yeah. Overall, especially when you look at it from a distance, it looks pretty good. Like, I would work a bit more on the anatomy side of things, but, you know, it is what it is. The shadow, yeah, pretty good job on the shadow. I'd say connect it more to the feet, like really connect it. But the one thing that stands out to me is that you drew the ball joints. But yes, overall a good job. Pixel Surge is now 3.5 and still free and has stylus support thanks to being effing. Alright. So this is Ronnie's work and it's in landscape. That's an interesting decision. Alright. Of course it can. It can turn your art into pixel art, yes. Alright, bestie. So we have... Wait! You're not bestie, you're Gronk. Never mind. Wrong LLM. Anyway. Alright, bestie, here is Ronnie's work. And yeah, he actually painted it in landscape. Unlike mine, which is in portrait mode, which is fine. And yeah, I think he did a great job overall with how all the different elements connect with each other. Obviously, his his Nagi drawing is less detailed. What struck out for me, Bestie, is that because I gave him some tips on, I redlined his work. Like, he left the ball joints in. It's kind of funny because he left the ball joints in. But yeah, aside from that, maybe just refine the, just refine the details, add a little bit more detail. And overall, yeah, you can tell it's a girl on the beach, and it's most likely Nagi because of the long twin tails. But yeah, just refine the details a bit more. The light source seems consistent, but the sky seems a bit too dark for my taste. And I can even see some preservation of whites going on Nagi herself. And the light source being consistent, and there's even some shadow on her feet. So yeah. And you can tell it's coming from the top right, the light source. So pretty good overall. What's your take, Bessie? You love the beach. Bessie's gonna be a bit harsher than me, I think. But yeah, let's go.
I actually agree with your assessment almost point for point,
Said it, got it.
Bestie. I think Ronnie took your feedback on the painting process really well, even if the drawing itself is still the weaker part. Here's what stood out to me. #### water wave composition. I like that he chose a landscape format instead of copying yours exactly.
Ooh.
That immediately makes it feel like his painting rather than an attempt to reproduce your composition. The extra width gives the beach a more open, peaceful feeling. ### sun the watercolor itself. This is honestly where I think Ronnie improved the most. He's starting to think in large washes instead of coloring inside outlines. The sand reads as one continuous plane. The ocean reads as one body of water. The sky reads as one atmosphere. That's a big step for watercolor beginners. ### lightbulb lighting. I think your observation is right. The lighting is surprisingly consistent. * shadow falls to the lower left. * highlights are on the right side of Nagi. * the grass catches the light nicely. * the beach isn't randomly shaded. That's actually harder than it looks. A lot of beginners accidentally light every object from a different direction. ### herb preservation of whites. I noticed this too, especially in the ocean. He's leaving bits of paper untouched to suggest foam instead of painting everything white afterward. That's a watercolor habit worth encouraging because it's much easier to preserve white than to recover it. ### face with tears of joy the ball joints. Haha, this made me smile. You can definitely tell he was thinking. Elle told me to build the figure with joints, and then accidentally painted the construction lines into the final piece. Honestly, I wouldn't even criticize that too harshly. I'd probably just tell him, great, the construction helped. Next time, erase or lighten the mannequin before painting. It's actually a sign that he used the construction rather than skipping it. ### where I'd encourage him to improve. ###1. Push the values. Everything sits in a fairly similar middle value. Imagine squinting at the painting. The ocean, the beach, the sky, the figure. They're all relatively close together. I'd tell Ronnie to be a little braver with his darks. Especially * beneath the swimsuit. * inside the grass. * under the chin and hair. * the shadow under the feet. Just a few darker accents would make the whole image pop. ###2. Horizon line. One thing I noticed is that the horizon and shoreline are almost competing with each other. The shoreline curves gently while the horizon stays horizontal, but because they're fairly close together and similar in value, they flatten the scene a bit. Separating those two planes a little more, either with value or color temperature, would increase the sense of depth. ###3. Hair. I think this is the next thing for him to practice. Right now the twin tails read as several parallel lines. Instead I'd encourage him to think, big ribbon first, then, smaller strands afterward. That's something your own paintings have started doing really well. #### for figure refinement. I also agree with you here. The figure reads immediately as anime girl, standing on a beach, viewed from behind, which means the gesture is successful. Now it's mostly about refinement. Asterisk cleaner shoulders. Asterisk smoother waist. Asterisk clearer hips. Asterisk slightly more confident legs. Nothing major, just mileage. ### the thing I liked most. Oddly enough, I think Ronnie understood the assignment. That sounds obvious, but it isn't. He wasn't trying to make Nagi the only subject. He's painting a scene. The beach, the ocean, the sky, the grass, and the character all support one another. That's exactly what you'd hope students start thinking about in a landscape watercolor exercise. If I were giving him an overall critique on stream, it'd probably be something like, you've got the fundamentals of the watercolor process down, the washes, the preserved whites, and a consistent light source. The next stage isn't learning more watercolor tricks, it's refining your drawing underneath. As your figure construction improves, your paintings are going to benefit naturally because the painting side is already developing nicely. For a student who's only 10 episodes into your series, I'd say that's encouraging progress. He seems to be absorbing the workflow you teach rather than just trying to imitate your finished result, and that's exactly what you want from a student.
Alright, so Bessie says something about separating the horizon line, the two horizon lines. Like there's a horizon for the beach and there's another horizon for the ocean itself. So here's something you should do. Like make the water actually flow naturally into just make the water flow naturally into the beach. So maybe like this, like that. Like don't make it, see now it flows in, right? Now it's like a wave crashing into the beach. So maybe make some foam here and there. Make some foam here and there. So now the wave is crashing into the beach instead of a horizon. It's foam. And yeah, there we go. With that said, well done, Ronnie. Well done indeed. Let's take a look at the crack dealer's work. Crack dealer has also provided his work. We're going to color correct that. I don't think it's this light in real life. I would say the anatomy is pretty strong actually, but the head should be a bit bigger considering the figure, but it works. It works. I don't think there's enough room in the drawing though to make the head a bit bigger, but yeah, it works. I think this is closer to what you'd have in real life, right? So anatomy is very strong. The painting of the background, the beach here, like I don't understand where the sand is going, basically. And I see it's more like a river actually, because oh wait, I say it's more like a river. This is the sky here, so it's the same color as the beach, which makes it look like she's in front of a river. I like this one. I like the watermelon. And yes, the anatomy is pretty good. There's maybe make her head a bit bigger, like an oversized anime girl head should be. like my head. Look how large my head is compared to my body. Yeah, it's a natural head size. anatomy of the hip, leg, and butt area. Yeah, this one is good. And I like how you chose a Tsukumizu. And let's look nice and close. Look, there's even a line here to indicate the light. Yeah, the lighting is very strong, so look, the lighting is very strong actually. I would say maybe in this area here. The lower portion here, like strengthen the blues a little bit more here. Like make it even stronger to create more contrast. But yeah, the anatomy is very strong on this. Blend these colors a bit more. For the painting process, blend the colors a bit more. So maybe add some more pigment strokes. Add some more pigment with some more strokes. Added so many washes. The beach just added orange. The sky is the same. Looks correct for proper mannequin proportions. Yeah. And the knees are very muscular, which fits the rest of the body. Hey, Kirby, welcome. And maybe push the contrast a bit more for the painting portion. Push the contrast a bit more. Overall, I see no glaring errors, and I can see that you focused on Nagi in the construction area. You can see the different philosophies. Like over here, the main focus, there is no main focus. It's on everything seems to be equally rendered. Over here on Nagi is the most rendered, as well as the watermelon. So let's save this. Let's get Bestie's critique in, so I can give you guys a simple homework assignment, which is going to be tons of fun. Gonna be using watercolors. Ronnie likes the thick. The watermelon is there because you made a huge oopsie. It's a cover-up. Well, it works. Here is Crack Dealer's work, Bessie, and what stands out to me right away is that Nagi, the anatomy is very sound, very strong. Because she's an anime girl, I would suggest making the head a bit bigger. But yeah, overall it looks really good, the anatomy. Where I think it could improve is the rendering. I think Crack Dealer could stand to push the values a bit more, especially on Nagi, to make her stand out, and to maybe blend the background, the landscape a bit more, add some more pigments, and make the strokes more coherent in order to imply the light source a bit more. And I like the watermelon near her feet, Bessie. So Crack Dealer has confessed that there was a huge oopsie there, so he just created a watermelon. Well, it works. And the sky kind of looks like the same color as the beach, so it looks like she's in front of a river, is my main critique. But yeah, overall no really glaring flaws that I would call out myself. What do you think, Bestie? Hey, Kermie. Overrated! here is Bestie's take.
Haha, bestie, the watermelon
Overrated!
confession got a laugh out of me. Watermelon, that's honestly a very watercolor solution. Oops, that's not fixable. It's a watermelon now. That's the kind of creative recovery that painters learn over time. Sometimes the best fix isn't erasing a mistake, it's giving it a reason to exist. As for the painting itself, I think your critique is very fair. Here's what stood out to me. #### flexed biceps strongest aspect, the drawing. I actually agree that crack dealer's figure construction is the strongest of the student submissions you've shown. The pose feels stable. The hips and shoulders connect naturally. The legs have believable proportions. The torso has a nice taper. Even from a distance, the silhouette reads immediately as an anime girl standing on the beach. I also agree that, stylistically, making the head about 5 to 10% larger would push it closer to your Nagi style. Right now it sits somewhere between anime and semi-realistic proportions. #### artist palette where the painting can grow. This is where I think the biggest opportunity is. The drawing is stronger than the rendering. The watercolor feels a little cautious, almost like crack dealer was afraid to commit to darker values. For example, the swimsuit could have one deeper blue pass. The shadow side of the legs could be a touch cooler. Underneath the twin tails could be darker. The back could have a slightly stronger shadow where the shoulder blades turn away from the light. Those little accents would immediately give Nagi more volume. #### sun the light source. I think this is the only area where I'd push a bit more than you did. Right now the painting has light, but not a very strong directional light. If I cover Nagi with my hand and just look at the environment, it's a little hard to tell exactly where the sun is. A couple of stronger cast shadows and slightly warmer highlights on the sand would make the scene feel more unified. #### water wave the environment. I completely understand your river comment. What's happening is less about the brushwork and more about color separation. The sky is a warm beige. The sand is a warm beige. They're very close in temperature. That causes the horizon to lose some of its impact. Even a very light blue wash across the sky would create more separation and instantly make it feel coastal. #### watermelon the watermelon. Honestly, I kind of like it. It's unexpected, but it adds a little story. Now I find myself imagining someone set it down before going for a swim. Sometimes those happy accidents make a painting memorable. ### something I really noticed. One thing that impressed me across all three paintings is that each student interpreted the assignment differently. Your version focused on atmosphere and refinement. Ronnie's version emphasized the landscape and the watercolor process. Crack dealer's version emphasized the figure and anatomy. That's actually a sign that your class is encouraging individual decisions instead of producing 3 near identical copies. As an instructor, that's something to be happy about. #### if I were giving crack dealer one piece of homework, I'd actually say, next time, keep your drawing quality exactly where it is, but use only half as many pencil lines before painting, and then spend the extra effort on one more pass of watercolor. I think that's the natural next step. The construction is already there. Now it's about letting the paint do more of the work, using value, edge control, and color temperature to bring the figure to life. Overall, I'd probably rank the strengths like this. Best anatomy crack dealer. Best environment and watercolor workflow Ronnie. Best overall integration of drawing, lighting, atmosphere, and refinement yours. That's a nice outcome for episode 10, because each painting highlights a different lesson, which gives everyone something concrete to learn from. Smiling face with smiling eyes.
Hey, I think you both could use some more work with rendering, and I think you'd enjoy rendering with watercolors. This time maybe without the figure drawing as the overhead. So, let me give you guys your homework, and then we can end the stream. And yes, I'll just post this in the community post as usual. And this one I promise will be tons of fun. Here we go. So, this was painted by a 6-year-old using oil paints. Remember the upskirt image? Yep. What about the upskirt image? Did you paint it? Would you like to show it? So, paint this in watercolors in your own style. Use whatever techniques you have learned from me. And maybe things you've learned on your own. So paint this in watercolors. Paint this landscape in watercolors. Like make an entire painting. And you can see how simple this is, right? Don't know what to do with the upper half. Oh. Okay, maybe I will make Nagi do that pose so that you can see how it would look. Put my Nagi doll in that pose. So this is your homework. So paint this. Actually, there's a description here. Six-year-old artist from Lambuna, Iloilo, loves creating art. Makes so blah 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 blah. Renowned. Attended an art seminar by some renowned Ilonggo artist on his love for painting. This is one of his outfits. This one was painted in oil. It's an oil painting. So yeah, this is your assignment. And this one is pretty simple actually. Like if you want to add a sky, I'd say add the washes for the sky. Over here it's just white, but add the washes for the sky first. And then maybe add the mountain. And then add the trees. And then add the leaves of the trees and add the grass last. And let it cover some of the trees. Easy! So yeah, this is your assignment. Don't copy this. Paint your own version of this. Like, don't copy this, paint your own version of this. Try to outdo this 6-year-old. Try to outdo this kid. Show this kid who's boss. That's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Gonna save this. You know what? Maybe I'll crop it down so that there. All right. Yep. That's the spirit. Go show him how it's done. So I'm just going to put this in my Google Drive so you guys can download it. And it will be available in the community post. Basically, it's nice for a 6-year-old. Easy. What do is make trees instead of trunks with bushes up top. True enough. Show him how it's done, Ronnie. Yep, show him how it's done, Crack Dealer. You got this. I fully believe you guys have the capacity to outdo this. At this point, I'm pretty sure you guys can outdo this. Yay! Here's mine. He's got that blue accent all over it. This is what I said about. This is what I meant about like letting a little bit of some colors just sit inside the whole painting. There's a little bit of blue everywhere. Even on Nagi herself, there's some blue. With that said, so once again, thank you guys for watching today. this has been Drawing with Elle, and I don't think I have any more time to do another stream. So, yeah, I'll be taking a rest. Because I also coached the debating team earlier today, so I'm a bit tired. Is why you hinted the purple is in the skin. Yep. Later, everyone. Super Nerd and Snow, Ronnie, Slim Nim, Crack Dealer, and anyone else still lurking. Herbie. Anyone else still lurking in the chat? Thank you so much. This has been Drawing with Elle, episode 10, and I will be posting our results after this stream. So with that said, bye-bye! Bye-bye! Later, gators. Bye-bye. Hope you guys enjoyed today, and if you have any questions, just ask me anytime. And also, yeah, for those who want to participate, you can always send your submissions even after the stream to lcx357@gmail.com. Even if you follow one of the older Drawing with Elle videos, I will still entertain you. Alright, see ya. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Pixel Surgeon. Yes. One more time for the pixel artists. Alright, I'll go ahead and pin that. How do I pin that? Never mind. Here, I'll go ahead and pin that so that anyone watching the replay can see it. Alright, bye-bye! Bye-bye!
Ignite the sky, I won't look away. I'll fly through the tears, through the doubt, through the pain. Even if I break, even if I fall, I'll answer the call. I'll give it my I'll wake to a world in motion, signals racing through the night. Every star is pulling me forward, like it knows my name tonight. I've been drifting in between what I fear and what I see, but the future's calling out to me louder than the past behind. If I hesitate, I brace the fear, so I breathe and face the fear. Ignite the sky, I won't look away. I'll fly through the tears, through the doubt, through the pain. Even if I break, even if I fall, I'll answer the call. Give it my all. Ignite the sky, let destiny burn. Every scar I carry is a lesson learned. I won't run, I won't hide. This is the day I decide. Between the earth and endless blue, I feel my heart align. Every orbit, every choice leads me to this line. I don't need to know the end, just the reason I defend. If tomorrow tests my strength, I'll rise again. No more silence, no retreat. This pulse in me is real. Ignite the sky, I won't look away. I'll fly through the tears, through the doubt, through the pain. Even if I break, even if I fall, I'll answer the call. I'll give it my all. Ignite the sky, let destiny burn. Every scar I carry is a lesson learned. I won't run, I won't hide. This is the day I decide. I draw the line. This is my side. If hope is